Okay, wow. Okay, this is going to be the second time I record this. Okay, sorry. Just how frustrating. Anyways, I just wanted to say that I did read a comment in the comments below on Josh's video from Josh himself saying that nobody read the description or probably won't read the description. And I did that same mistake while I was streaming this. So I'm going to give Josh the courtesy of reading the description because I would want my description to be read as well. And I will be putting a lot of information in the description and I will be talking about it after I read this from Josh. Let's go ahead. I believe that people are the ones who plagiarize, steal, and copy with ill intention. Banning AI wholeheartedly and or shaming those that use it without a second thought is not something I agree with. The same way some choose to use it to find new discoveries in healthcare and some use it to generate embarrassing deepfakes of celebrities, the same way it is up to the user themselves to discern how to use a tool. If I can contribute to educating artists to be intentional and respectful about how these new tools are used, instead of resorting to shaming and judgment without giving others a chance to learn and grow, then I feel I have contributed a great deal towards a better future with more harmony and more artists. Okay. I hope my audio doesn't mess up here. Just to summarize what I said before, basically, I can see that Josh is trying to make this kind of an equivalent to the internet, because the internet can also be used for quote unquote good and quote unquote bad. Again, it depends how you use the internet and how to realize, good or bad actions, right? I swear I had more to say about this. I kind of yapped a bit there, but maybe that's for the best. I know AI isn't going to go away soon in the future or at all. However, I don't think that this is a useful tool, specifically Midjourney and other AI programs like that have been fed artwork non-consensually. I just don't think that that's an artist tool that we can use. There are other AI programs, I guess you could say. I'm sorry, I struggle to use the AI vocabulary properly. Okay, so as an example, I said the Spider-Man movie. One of the Spider-Man movies used AI. That was really good because it streamlined the process, right? It cut down on what could have been like maybe even like a few months of work. It cut it down to like a few days, which is amazing. Cool. Wow. Wonderful. Such a great use of the tool. I think using AI tools like that is very helpful. I do agree with Josh. It helps in healthcare and other things, right? I just don't think in the way that Josh is using it, as I reviewed in the stream, is ethical. Speaking of ethical, I do have to clarify 3 things. One is that I must clarify that Josh never says ethically. Like, he never says that AI can be used ethically. He says without infringing on anyone else's rights. So I apologize, Josh. I keep saying that throughout the video. That's not what Josh said. Josh said that you can use AI without infringing on anyone else's rights. Of course, during the whole stream, I talk about how that's just not true. The way Midjourney has been fed artwork non-consensually, and that there are a number of lawsuits pending because of that. So unfortunately, I do believe that it does infringe on artists' rights specifically, because they did not consent for their artwork to be used in Midjourney or any other AI program. Number 2, I want to clarify that me and Bun have different opinions. Bun is very reactive. I am also kind of reactive in a couple of times in the video. I have cut out a few parts where Bun and me and Bun grammar, we've said a couple of things that I think that is not fair or is out of line. So I did cut that out. I just also want to clarify to Josh, personally, I guess, because that's the only person I need to apologize to. I never insulted Josh. I never used, anything. I never said anything to attack Josh's person or anything like that. So the only stuff that I cut out was stuff that I maybe think I was a little like, I don't agree with the opinion anymore. I just thought I'd cut it out because I don't think it was conducive to anything. I don't agree with it anymore. And it's just, I don't know why I said that. So I cut it out. I also cut out a few things that Bun said. That was a bit more so. It used harsher language towards Josh. And I don't want that out there in the video. I cut that out. So the VOD is available on Twitch. However, due to streaming error, on OBS, Josh's video, the audio does not come through on stream. So on in the VOD, it did come through stream. So unfortunately, that is messed up. But thanks to Bun, Bun was able to put the audio back in. And with editing, I was able to fix all of that. Please God, I hope that the audio is not messed up right now as I'm recording this, because my first take on this was so great. Okay. Number 3, I use the word morality a lot when I really mean ethics. While sometimes I really do mean morals, like 99.9% of the time, it's ethics to what I'm referring to. So I don't want to make it seem like, oh, I'm so moral and I'm so like so morally superior than Josh, and Josh is not more. Josh is morally bankrupt. Like, no, none of that. Whenever I say morals, I definitely do mean ethics. As an example, some people find it ethical to steal from big stores like Target or Walmart, right? Because at the end of the day, the losses are negligible. I have problems saying that word, so I have to sound it out like that. Their losses, they really won't, it doesn't really matter in the big picture. However, some people's ethics, stealing is stealing. It doesn't matter if you're stealing from a rich person or, a giant store like Walmart or, anywhere. Stealing is stealing, and they just wouldn't do it. So that's basically what I mean by ethics. Everyone has different ethics, different code of conduct that you go by. And I don't think that necessarily makes you a good or bad person. I just think people do good and bad actions. So again, this isn't attacking Josh and being like, oh, he's so morally corrupt and that he would do this. I honestly, I do think that Josh thinks that he is a good person. And who am I to say if he's a good person or not? I don't know him personally. I just know that he's using AI as a reference to his artwork. And I just don't agree with that personally. So those are his ethics, and these are my ethics. He believes that that does not infringe on artists' rights. I do believe that it infringes on artists' rights. So we just have different ethics, different beliefs on this. So I just wanted to clarify that as well. And again, I do apologize, Josh. I know during the video, I keep saying that you said how to use AI ethically. You never said that. Anybody watching this, he never said that. He says without infringing on anyone else's rights. That's exactly what he said. I will try to clarify that during the stream. I tried my best to edit in text in big letters that, every time I say he says ethically, that he said without infringing on anyone else's rights. If some part of the video I missed that, I apologize. I am saying it verbally now. He did not say that. All right, thanks for watching, and on to the video. Let me put on my little earmuffs here. So before I start talking about this, I just want to say, number 1, my credentials. I am an artist first and foremost. That has been slowly changing over the years. I do stream games mostly, but yeah, I started off as a artist or an art streamer first on Picardo, and then I switched over to Twitch because I saw that the category was really small, and I saw an opportunity for exposure. I didn't keep up with it, of course, but I think honestly at the time when I was streaming at Twitch, affiliate didn't even exist yet because I would have hit bare minimum or whatever for affiliate, and I'm pretty sure that didn't exist yet. Yes, that didn't exist yet because even one of my favorite streamers didn't even have channel points. So that's my number 1 credential. Of course, I will be opening up commissions, and I am currently talking with someone and seeing if that commission will work out. I'm still doing my commission sheet. So I do know a thing or two about art. And of course, my co-host here, Bun, who's sitting on the chair right now. Say hi, Bun.
I'm low.
He also is an artist, so I would say even a better artist than me visually.
Let's not get crazy.
All right. Well, you know how to point things. You're a very good artist, is what I'm saying. Like, you know how to draw, obviously, and you know how to tell if something's AI or not. Because sometimes I think a person, like a regular person, doesn't know how to, tell what regular art from AI art is. So that's that. Number 2, this guy, Ergojosh. He's been a YouTube artist for a really long time. I saw one of his first videos. Like, I think he was just doing a tutorial on how to draw or something. I'm not sure if he even did those videos, but basically he did one video that was very personal to him. He talked about his art journey and how he was able to make YouTube videos. obviously YouTube has been very lucrative to him. And I think, of course, he's done other ventures as well. He definitely gets his money from YouTube and possibly other venues as well. So as a content creator, that's basically being like a business person, because you want to make content that people like, of course, and that you like as well, but also profit off of it, obviously, because you have to make a living somehow. Being a content creator can be lucrative, and that's just the road he took, and it was successful to him. Now, the controversy with this is that he not all of a sudden, I think there were hints of it. He started posting in his community tabs about how, AI art is kind of this new technology. He was kind of neutral in his statements, which is already a red flag, because if you're an artist, AI art should immediately be a negative thing. You should be talking about it in a negative connotation. But he took a very neutral stance, which I guess that's fine, if not a little bit of a red flag. Just because he kept saying how AI art might be able to change the artistic landscape, and how he was kind of looking into it and exploring it, which is fine. Again, we want to make sure every new tool that comes out to artists, like, we look into completely and see if it's beneficial to the artist. And if it's not, of course, we denounce it. And of course, we know that AI is basically what it does is it's trained on artists' work, and most of that art is stolen. So I know a lot of people are like, oh yeah, just AI art can make this photo and make this photo. It's not making the photo. It's generating from previous artworks that have been fed into its algorithm. And it's different from photo bashing. It is not photo bashing because it's using stolen artwork from artists. It's plagiarizing, it's art theft, and I think every artist should denounce Midjourney and any AI art generator machine. I'm not even going to say it's like AI art. Yeah, exactly. So he doesn't see it that way, though. Ergojosh was like, well, if I train Midjourney on my own art, then I should be able to generate some artwork that I can then use as a sketch and as a base to build my art off of. So let's just see how he justifies that, because all I know is that he tried to test the water by posting a community post on YouTube, right? And he was like testing the waters and being like, if I post my artwork, if I use AI art models, like, that should be able to help my work, and it makes my art process go faster. Before I lose you guys, because I know this is going to be preaching into the choir, I do have a wide variety of opinions on AI, not just like AI bad. I do have a variety of opinions on AI, and I feel like I have a unique perspective here, because I feel like a lot of people aren't bringing in a certain aspect of AI. Because I feel like a lot of people are like, oh yeah, using AI is immoral. But I'm just going to say straight up right now, people that use AI, they do not give a shit if it's immoral. So you guys saying
that are crypto dumping and stealing from
NFTs, yeah, all of that. Yes. That is a business. And I feel like people don't understand that. And I see the same tweets over and over again being like, you guys know this is stolen artwork, right? It's stolen. But it's like, I promise you guys, they know that. They know that, and they don't care.
1000%. They don't give a fuck.
So you guys just repeating over and over again that it's stolen, it really is not. They don't care. It's not going to change their opinion. In fact, it kind of makes it even better for them, because they're like, okay, well, I get to steal from this like amazing artist and make money off of it.
May I interject? Not only do they not care, the normal person will not fucking care.
That is true.
If you see Facebook posts, there will be AI generated fucking centipede people being like, please wish me a happy birthday. And it'll have like 1 billion likes. It'll have 1 billion comments. And that's where it really hurts artists, where no one gives a fuck about integrity.
I'm even just going to say this again. I'm streaming right now. A lot of streamers, especially cozy streamers or any type of streamers, to be honest, a lot of streamers just care about aesthetics, empty aesthetics. I see posts going viral and it's clearly AI. And I think the last, what's it called? Not meme, but it's like, you know, those like AI generated Funko Pops that they were doing. A lot of streamers were like inputting prompts to make their own Funko Pops, and they're like, oh, this is so cute. Isn't it cute? And like they were making a lot of that. that they actively participated in AI because, again, all they care about are aesthetics. They don't care if it's stolen artwork. They don't care if it's, there's a lot of things that go into AI too, not to mention the power usage of AI. It's like very environmentally damaging also.
Yep.
Like there's just so many negatives to AI, but let's just say a lot of people don't care. A lot of people just want the aesthetics. And like Bun said, it's not just people profiting off of AI. It's just your regular person, your friend, your friendly neighborhood streamer. Yeah, I hate that so much. I have to block AI all the time. I saw some on my feed the other day. Exactly. How many times, and I'm talking to streamers now, how many times have you been on your Twitter feed or Threads or whatever, and you've seen your favorite streamer have an AI profile picture? They tweet some kind of AI slop, some picture that's supposed to be aesthetic, and everyone's like, oh, that's so pretty. Is that real? And then they're like, oh, no, it's not real. But they won't clarify that it's AI, but they will reap the benefits of all the retweets and likes and all of that because they love that. Yeah, all the time. You need to say it. And we need to start taking accountability for the damage that AI does, not just to others, but to the environment as well. Exactly. So again, these are some points that really matter to us because we have the type of morals that our morals are more aligned to caring about the environment. We care if something is stolen. We care if it hurts somebody else, right? Like plagiarizing, profiting off of. That matters to us. However, again, I don't want to lose the people that are watching this. If you don't care about that stuff, I have another perspective on this. Just again, I don't want to. I know this is probably not going to sway a lot of people that are pro AI. But I want you to know, I do acknowledge that you do not care that if the art is stolen, you don't care about the environment and you don't care that they're profiting off of stolen art. I recognize that. I see you. Don't worry. I know other artists have a hard time wrapping their head around it because I've seen so many Twitter posts just completely baffled on why people would still continue to do this. But I understand. I get it. I know why you keep doing this. So yeah, it should matter and they should care. Exactly. But unfortunately, we can't make people care because, again, some people, their morals, they simply do not care. They only care about empty aesthetics, money, and profit, clout, whatever. Like that's their end goal and they don't care. We care, obviously. Like that's a big issue for us. All right, let's react to Ergojosh's video because this guy was a legit YouTube artist. I'm going to say was a legit YouTube artist. He is going to be like I hesitate to say artist. You'll see what he's doing though. You'll see what he's doing with the AI.
Editing Izzy here. I just want to clarify that I do still think Josh is an artist, obviously. I will clarify my point on this later on in the video, but I just want you to know I do still consider him an artist. You're going to see his whole artistic process in this video. Okay, just wanted to clarify that.
All right, let's play this.
Today, we're going to do a little process breakdown for my newest illustration called What the Meek See. This is mostly in part because of how many people freak out the moment they hear that AI is used. And the goal here is to show you how it can be used in an effective way without infringing on anyone else's rights, without losing or giving up your own creativity and your own artistic license as an artist, and how to actually have it benefit you without limiting yourself. How to only
already he's wrong. I'm just going to say that right now. The way that AI is set up from the beginning, unfortunately, there is no way to use it ethically. I'm just going to say that right now. There is a world. So in my head, there was a world where you could have used AI and it would have been an amazing artistic tool. I think about this constantly. If in the beginning of AI, they made it so that, I don't know how they would have like regulated this, but if it were only to be trained on your art exclusively, and it's like individualistic to everybody who has the AI art program, this would have been such an amazing tool. It would have been like advanced photo bashing with your own artwork. This would have been so helpful for artists everywhere. Unfortunately, the well has been tainted. AI art has already been trained on thousands, if not probably millions at this point, stolen artwork. It's already tainted. There is no, you're just adding your artwork to the pile of stolen artwork. Just because you consented and you yourself uploaded artwork to this model does not erase everybody else's artwork that has already been dumped into this model, stolen and plagiarized. So already his fantasy world of this being ethically used and how to use it ethically, it doesn't work. It's already been tainted.
Have it add to you. So this is the final result that you're seeing here. This illustration took me over 111 hours, completed entirely in Procreate. So I've selected 69 slides, just so happen to be 69, covering the entire process from the automatic generated time lapse in Procreate to explain the process. So without further ado, let's continue here. So this first slide is after about an hour or two of sketching, and what I did here was use one reference. It all started with one reference that I wanted to study, with a woman holding her head up with her hand like this, but then I decided to add everything else that you see here. So I had this idea of, okay, I want to draw a lot of hands. I sketched out some hands holding up her breasts as if it was a bra made out of hands. I had some hands coming out from behind her that were holding up a veil that I wanted to cover her face that she was looking through. I wasn't sure if I was going to have the hands actually coming out from her back. And I thought that this pose would help because from the reference, you don't really see much of her body outside of this area. Next, I decided to change up the pose of the hands, just following my own intuition and creativity. By the way, just to be clear, there's no AI used whatsoever. This is just me sketching with my own Ergojosh Sketch 3.0, bro.
Hey, what's up?
I'm sorry, him just saying that, guys, listen, this right here, this isn't AI. This is all me. This is, I don't believe it just because he brought it up. Why did he bring it up? Sorry. Anyway.
I believe him. I believe that up to this point, this is his own creativity process. I think it's...
Why bring that up?
Because he's being defensive. I think just a little history again. Guys, he did post in the community post that he was planning on doing this video, and he has done previous posts on using AI art to help him with his artistic process to speed it up, right? Which is ironic, by the way, Mr. Ergojosh, because you did spend quite a bit of time on this artwork. As he said in the beginning, I forgot how many hours he said he spent on it. 11 hours, which probably maybe he does take longer than 11 hours. But I don't know how long he takes regularly on his artwork, but 11 hours is still like a pretty large chunk amount of time to spend on an art piece. So, I mean, does it really cut down on that much time? I mean, I don't know. I know he said 11 hours. See, even then, that's like a long time. So, I mean, is him using AI art to cut down on time really worth it? Like, probably not, but also he probably mentioned the amount of time that it took him to draw the art because he wants to defend people being like, oh, you just clicked a button and it just generated it for you. And he's probably going to use it as being like, no, I still had to work on this art. Do you see how many time I put into it? But then again, it defeats the purpose, and he's contradicting himself and saying that using AI is like cutting down on, it's streamlining his artistic process and making it faster and better and whatever. But I do believe him. I honestly, I really like his artistic process so far. It looks very sketchy, very messy. You can see like the human process of him problem solving the composition of this art is, I like it. So far, it's beautiful to me. Let's see where he goes with it.
To get tainted with AI. Yeah, let's see how it goes.
So I thought, what if she's like kind of looking through a hole in her eye, making the okay symbol here and holding up her head with the other hand. Here, you see quite a significant change because now I'm like, okay, I want to start refining the anatomy more. So I found some photo reference hands from various places. I decided to try to draw these hands better. But that's a big leap if you look at...
Yeah, the human process, the daughter of an artist here. Exactly. Yep. Abby also has her credentials. Daughter of an artist. Again, I have no reason to believe he's lying here. I think that this is a complete, genuine artistic process. I see his under sketches. I see how he used references. I see how he's problem solving. I see how he's using the references to build up the sketch. Again, it doesn't seem like AI to me at this point.
Use a little bit more of a atmospheric, kind of like a fisheye perspective for this. You see me constructing the arm anatomy from what I know from memory, from my studies previously. You see the arm is a lot more refined here and the face looks a lot more 3D. At this point, I have refined a lot more of the line work and the anatomy for the body. Again, using a mixture of just my own imagination and whatever reference images I found from Pinterest, for example, which were all photographs for the most part. Some of them were artworks. And at this point, I had also used my own hands as reference to refine the hands above her even more. And I thought, you know what, I might just have these hands floating above her. At this point, this is after I decided to try working on the veil a little bit more. It's not showing here because I completely scrapped the idea, but I refined her face a lot because I just didn't like how it looked. It wasn't really stylized as much as I'd wanted. And so at this point, I used some reference that had been generated by AI by other artists.
Okay. Let me read Abby's comment. 25 plus years of art teaching, and he's an animator too. Love my dad, and I've seen him work so hard for so many years. Why on earth did we make AI that gobbles up human creativity and not something that makes life easier for humans? Exactly. I think AI could have made humans' lives easier. I think there are certain tasks, and again, what I'm about to say might sound controversial. There are certain tasks that I believe AI is and would be beneficial to us, like secretarial work, right? Like making lists, let me think for a second.
Oh yeah, the breast cancer prediction. That shit was awesome.
Oh, AI can predict breast cancer?
Yeah, before it starts forming.
That is cool. Yeah, see, I think AI has a lot of useful tools in real life. Again, from stuff that's mundane, like secretarial work, making lists, doing step-by-step processes, breaking stuff down for you, AI predicting breast cancer. That's amazing. I didn't even know that. So I think AI does have a place in society, but I think we're using it. This is like a tool that can be used for not good, for quote unquote evil. Although, that sounds like very Disney, like evil, but yeah, for not good. Here he's saying that he's using AI art to reference for his style that he wants to do for the eyes, right?
Yeah.
Already, the first thing he said in the video was you can use AI in an ethic way. Already, he's disproving that. The moment he pulled up these references and was like, yes, this is AI generated artwork that I used to reference for the eyes, right?
Whose art styles? How does he know
exactly how many art styles, whose art style was fed through the machine to spit out this image? How many artists that's artwork were stolen, plagiarized, and non-consensually put through this art generator to generate these images did he use? He said ethically, so I don't understand what this part is, because I thought he was going to feed his own artwork into the AI and draw and make references from his own art. So why is he suddenly grabbing 3 AI generated images from artwork that he probably doesn't know if they were ethically made? Definitely not, though, because again, when you find these types of pictures on Pinterest, most likely they were stolen artwork. They were fed through the AI machine, used as prompts, and spit out this soulless artwork. Yes. Like, imagine being an artist and seeing your art spat back out at someone for the purpose of using it for themselves and their self-gain. Just look it up on Google. It's not that hard. Exactly. He could have referenced...
This is the same as him using those images himself. Him using them as reference, it's like he's not the artist he thinks he is anymore in my head. You know what I mean? And my respect for him, just like I was watching the lines and I was watching like his process, just like you said, and it was like, yeah, he's a great artist, but it's like that's just it's tarnished now. Is he an artist? Look at what he's doing. It's like, this is disgusting.
So I still think he's an artist. However, he is straying from the path, and he's going to say, I bet you somewhere in this video, he's going to be like, oh, like I'm not going to use AI art like 100% of my work. This is how I ethically use it. I promise you, later on in the future, he is going to use AI artwork just straight off the bat, like right off. He's just going to use it. Yeah, he is losing the plot. Yeah, he did. He called it ethical in the beginning of his video. He's like, I'm going to show you how to use this ethically. This is not ethically already. You're already using stolen artwork. Let's see where he goes with this, though. This is his 5th process in this. This is step number 5, right? In step number 5, he's already straying. But let's see what he says to justify this.
As well as my own intuition for all the faces I've drawn to construct this. And it really is no different from me looking at reference of, let's say, Ilya Kuvshinov, like I've done many, many times in the past.
Then why didn't you already look up references from Ilya Kuvshinov?
Come on, man.
I know Ilya's work. That artwork is beautiful. Why didn't you just pull it up? Why did you have to pull up an AI referenced work? I don't understand why, he's trying to justify it being like, it's no different. It is different though. It is different, my dude. Abby says he's an artist still, I think, but this is not the way, IDK had to say it. I agree with Abby. I still think he's an artist. I don't think this takes away from his artistic,
I'm not into it.
I don't think this takes away from his artistic, like, suddenly he's not an artist. I do think he's going down a slippery slope though. And I do think that as an artist, you have a responsibility not to steal from other artists. And I think in a roundabout way, he thinks he's not. He's just referencing an AI generated image, but this image was already stolen. So if you're referencing a stolen image and taking parts of the stolen image, you're just taking parts of an already rotting carcass. So I think as an artist, he did have a responsibility to not steal. And I know, again, he probably thinks this isn't stealing, but it is stealing. He's referencing stolen artwork. But let's go. We're only 3 minutes into it, though. Let's see how else he uses AI in his work, because I feel like he's going to go further with this.
For artists, as well as my own intuition for all the faces I've drawn to construct this. And it really is no different from me looking at reference of, let's say, Ilya Kuvshinov, like I've done many, many times in the past, to construct this face and have it have an appealing look with the shape of the eyes that I wanted. But again, I didn't generate any reference myself. I didn't overlay any references or include any AI in this illustration at this point whatsoever. Here, I decided, okay, I don't like her body pose. So I found 4 references from a reference pack done by, I believe it was Obscura or Graffiti Studio. And there was a model that was sitting on the floor in various poses, and I would study them while I was streaming on Twitch and decide that I was going to pick one of these 4 to use for the illustration. So I was going to basically
he's a Twitch
as I like to call it, her head and hands onto one of these bodies. So I decided on these 2 as the final contestants, and you can see from the previous slide, I overlaid it here, I shrunk it down and tried to get it to fit. They both looked good to me at the time, but this one was the one I went with, but I ended up not liking it because once I started working on it more, I found it didn't work really well with the rest of the body at all. Now here, you see I have selected the final pose of the finished drawing here. And this is where I start exploring, well, what if I make the hair a lot more wild and vibrant and flowy at this point, right? I still have not used AI whatsoever other than to look at some of the random AI images that have come up on Pinterest. I started sketching loosely what this could be like. Here you see me going even further, using references that I had found from other artworks online, especially some of those AI artworks for coming up with this hair, but also looking at the hair from the initial reference to design the flow pattern for all of this. Here, you see I have brought in a grid perspective grid to try to figure out and correct some of the perspective and proportions for the anatomy, but also because I decided I wanted the hair to be a lot more dynamic and feel like it was coming towards the viewer and going back into space. So instead of drawing, I felt like that was way too limiting. I just got a brush and started painting really rough gestural shapes to see and get a feel for what was going on. But at this point, I felt like I have this faint image of what I want in my mind that's a lot more refined.
Foundation of the fundamentals.
I need some help, and I knew that
for him to fucking use AI art. Oh my god, it makes me
to what
sick.
I was trying to come up with, just floating hair in a abyss or a void. Then I could use that to guide me. So this is with a little bit more refinement. I tested out some different hands here that would be holding up the veil, but I decided maybe they're not going to be holding a veil. And then I went back to the original hands I had because I just thought they looked better, except if we go back again, we see I kept this hand. So I liked this new one, but I went back to the original one for this, which you see here. And so here is where we finally have AI being...
The minute I saw a flash of that hair, I was like, that's disgusting AI work. All right.
So I generated several images in Midjourney of hair just flowing about in space, and sometimes it would actually generate a character's head, which is not what I wanted, so I would erase that. And so I brought it in, I cut it up, I cropped it, I would use the liquify tool, and I would try to shape the hair in a flow.
So if we remember in the beginning of the video, he did say, I'm going to show you how to ethically use AI art. I like how he was like, I made a prompt on Midjourney and it created a character's head. So I had to erase that part. My dude, it's creating the character's head because it's using other people's artwork. Like, this is probably somebody's artwork being used and plagiarized and again stolen from this AI art model that you're using. Just because you're liquefying it and you're trying to make it fit on your character does not make it ethical. This is already stolen. You are using somebody's stolen work and you're referencing it and you're putting it over your own artwork and you're basically copying and pasting it. And again, just because you use the liquify tool does not justify it being ethical. In fact, it's completely the opposite.
That was similar to what I wanted with this. And I wanted it to be in multiple layers. So you see that this is actually 3 different images. If I switch to a different color here, or 3 different sections, there's this one below it, and then there's this one over here. See, I added even more. And what I did was I started to trace some of the basic shapes here.
How long?
Now, a lot of you freaked out hearing, oh my God, he traces. But as an experienced artist, when I trace something, I know how to trace it in a way that still adheres to my own skill and artistic intuition for shape design. I'm not going to go in here like a newbie would and trace every single little thread and stick to the lines that were there. No, I'm going to actually blur my vision a bit and find the bigger shapes that I find appealing here and use it as inspiration. So as you see, these images I generated are not very artistic at all. They're 3D. They're almost photorealistic. And the result, as you saw, is not photorealistic at all. I just wanted the general cascading shape of this. No one person can say that they own hair flowing about that's being lit in this way, right?
Oh my God.
Abby says he's already taken a bite. He's only going to get worse and want more. That's exactly it. He swears up and down. He's like, I just use it this way. I'm not going to go further deep into it. I'm not like, I know he's trying to justify this. Again, he's like, I'm not a beginner artist. I'm not tracing every individual strand. I know how to, obviously, dude, we can see you have your fundamentals down. You can see volume and you can see, the shapes within the hair strands. We get that. That's not what's on trial here. The fact that you generated 3 AI images, you photo bashed them all together, you liquefied them, and you're still using them, you're still stealing. Yeah, he said no one person owns flowing hair. Like what? Yeah. What do you mean no one person owns flowing hair? You didn't just get a stock photo of someone's... Hold on, let me finish my thought. You didn't just get one person's flowing hair off of, photo stock or, it wasn't just a random image, Google image, right? You generated this through someone's stolen artwork. This is not a reference photo that he could have done that, by the way. He could have referenced a flowing hair stock photo image. And I know that's probably not easy to find. But again, as an artist, you make it work. You don't go to an AI generated image. You generate images of flowing hair which were probably done again using stolen artwork. All of his hair. I wonder what artists had their artwork stolen. So you could just simply liquefy it and paste it on your character. And just because you're not tracing every single strand and you understand the fundamentals of volume and hair and composition does not make that okay. Do you guys... Oh, sorry. Hey, Vic. All right, go ahead.
I was just going to say that's why I don't consider him an artist anymore. Just because, look, he does have the fundamentals down. He has his shapes, but what is he doing for the finer details? He's not doing it himself. He's not artistic anymore. He's relying on images to feed him his own inspirations. And is that inspiration at that point if it's stolen? And that's the problem, is that he's like saying it's no different if I just went to the person's page and looked at their art. All Midjourney is doing is putting all together the artists that I like, you know, whatever the fuck he's saying. But it's like, it still makes the point that you're not doing a fucking lick of work. Yeah, you drew the fucking hand nice. Yeah, you know how to draw legs and you got your shapes down. But when it comes down to the finer details, he has no artistic intuition anymore. This is
I
what
still
I mean,
think he does. I still think he's thinking like an artist, but again, he's using AI art to think like an artist. I would have no problem.
The artist.
I would have no problem if he took flowing hair from a reference image. Do you guys see what I'm saying? The issue is that he got an AI generated image, used the liquefied tool, and he's using that as his reference, right? Artists do this all the time. Like, you'll like lower the opacity, you'll get the like solid shapes, and then you'll use it in your artwork, right? That's not stealing, that's not tracing. You're just using the reference to get like the volume, the composition of the piece. What he's doing, this is literally such advanced level of like artwork. You see, he's like on his 13th step of the artistic process, right? He's probably going to have way more steps in this. This is advanced, like this is crazy, amazing artistic work. And it would be so amazing to see him work off of actual references, but the whole thing is tainted when he uses AI art. Even if he liquefies it, even if he uses it's even worse, honestly, that he used 3 images of AI art. But the fact that he overlaid them all and he liquefied them, and he's saying that, oh, I'm not tracing every strand of hair. Like, yeah, again, we're not arguing that. We're not arguing that you're tracing this. We're arguing that you're using it at all, period. I would have no problem if you did this whole thing using references, because that's what artists do. They reference images, they'll lower the opacity, they'll make it fit somehow, they'll liquefy stuff. All of that is fine, but it's already been tainted. That is stolen artwork that you liquefied. So again, I don't know. Yeah, I had to delete the heads that were generated. Yeah, that's what I said originally. He's like, oh, I didn't want the AI generator to generate a head. I had to erase that. And it's like, huh? Yeah, of course it generated a head, because it's referencing off of a completed artwork from somebody else's art. That's why it generated the head. It's not creating the hair out of thin air. It's not creating it because, oh, the model is referencing just reference images. No, it generated it because it was generating it from a previous existing artwork that already had a head, that already had a person.
And even if there is an image that looks exactly like this, the end result is not even close to what this is. And if I had found an image that had hair like this, which I didn't, by the way, I had searched for a lot of hair images on Pinterest before that you'll see in this video that helped, but didn't give me this expression or feeling that I wanted. You can see clearly this basically doesn't even look like I had used AI in the image at all. I used it as a tool to help guide me. Many people said, oh, you could have done this, you could have done that. Yeah, I could have also made this person have an alligator head with teeth. I could have done an infinite number of things, but I chose to use the tools that I had available. My camera to photograph my hand, images on Pinterest, references that I purchased from real people that posed and sell those photographs, and I purchased them from ArtStation. I used everything, right? So when you hear, oh, someone used AI, you need to think a lot more critically about how that can be used. This isn't a game. This isn't a war about being who's right or who's wrong or who's good or who's bad. This is about growing and maturing in your own skill skill and learning new skill sets and finding a place where they can be fitting to your own complex view of the world and your own morality here. This isn't supporting theft, right? That's a very simple-minded way to view this. And I say that with complete confidence when you hear that someone used a tool and you associate it with everything else. It's extremely immature, and it's part of why I'm making this video, because I feel this needs to be said, and a lot of people are fearful about saying this, but...
Okay, I have like a billion things. Number one, I'm just gonna address the crocodile head thing. What a weird, like he's trying to mask the fact. He's like, oh, I know you guys are gonna say I could have used this, I could have used that. By the way, I was gonna list the number of things he could have used, because he's like, I couldn't find a reference image like this. Well, you couldn't even find a reference image like that on AI when you generated it through AI. You had to liquefy it to fit what you wanted it to look like. By the way, as an artist, it is your job to problem solve your way through these issues. You think the artists that drew a lot of your favorite artworks, they used AI to draw that art? No, they used problem solving skills to put what they were imagining in their head on paper, and then they drew that, and then it came out that way. You get what I mean? Like, they didn't have to go to AI to help them realize a vision. That is the artist. That's like the artist's journey. That's their plight. For real. What the fuck? Yeah. It's a total. Yeah. So as an artist, and I'm going to say this right now, obviously, this is our whole struggle. This is the struggle of being an artist. If you want to strip down being an artist to your bare bones, it's you have an image in your head and you want to translate it on paper. Problem solve that. That is being an artist. How do you problem solve that? You learn the fundamentals. You reference images. You do your best to translate what you have an idea in your head, and you translate it to the piece of paper. That is your job as an artist, by the way. Hi, Tim. Yeah, imagine not being an artist and not doing artist things. Exactly. So I'm just going to say that right now. The fact that he's like, oh, a lot of people were saying, I could have done this, I could have done that, I could have given her a crocodile head. What does that have to do with anything? You know what? Actually, I will list the things that you could have done. You could have gotten Clip Studio Paint brushes or assets from Procreate. You could have gotten those like hair brushes, and you could have done your whole process of what you imagined, what hair, because you clearly know what you were imagining, because you had to liquefy that hair to fit what you were imagining in your head. So if you already had an image in your head of what the hair flow that you wanted it to look like, and you had to liquefy it to look like that, you literally could have gotten a picture of like horse hair, liquefied that, and you could have just done that all over your artwork. You could have gotten assets like hairbrush assets, like, you know, those brushes that mimic human hair. You could have gotten that, and you could have done that as well. There are so many things you could have done. I could list like a billion right now off the top of my head, but I'm not going to waste my time, because to him, it's irrelevant. To him, it's irrelevant. How well you translate that to paper is like your skill as an artist. He's cheating mods to get this man's kneecaps. Yeah. The only thing I can think of saying right now is that it's just AI is bad. Mods, blow up this man's balls. So yeah, the fact that he's like, I don't want to hear all the ways that I could have done it. All I know is that AI gave me this tool so I could realize the vision that I had in my head, which obviously we literally just debunked right now. You could have done a million other things, but you didn't want to do that. You wanted to get 3 images generated by AI, which didn't even give you the result that you wanted, and you had to liquefy it to make it look like this.
Wait, I have a theory. He erased the heads because they did exactly what he wanted.
That's a good theory.
We don't even know the prompts that he put in.
Yeah. I wonder what prompts he put in to achieve this look. Because so far, I'm not impressed with his excuses and his deflections, and he's getting very defensive. Not only that, he called everybody that calls AI art theft immature. So again, what I thought this was, I literally thought he was going to feed the AI like algorithm his artwork and then generate from that. But clearly it's worse than I thought. He's literally going to Midjourney, typing in the prompts that he wants, copy and pasting the 3 images that he wanted, liquefying it, and erasing the head that was generated. Because obviously the machine is going to generate the whole image, right? I wonder what artist this was stolen from. So the fact that he thinks that this is like, it's immature to call this stolen, it's not immature to call this stolen. I'm sorry. It's immature to deflect and say whatever crap you said about, oh, this is like an alligator. I could have made this an alligator head. I could have stuck my thumb up my butt. I could have done, I could have tap danced outside naked. But yeah, well, we're not talking about any of that, my dude. We're talking about the methods on which you used to create this hair. And so far, I'm not impressed. And again, calling people immature, that's immature of you. Honestly, this is stolen. Your process,
with such artistic and beautiful knowledge in the medium. Like, I saw you had a mesh of what you wanted the hair to look like. If you go backward, he had a 3D fucking space where he had the hair flowing like he imagined it.
Let's see that, and guys.
Instead of building off of that, look, see right there. Look at his beautiful understanding. Instead of doing this, this is what I mean, is that you are not being an artist. You may be an artist, but you're not, the process is gone for you. Being the artist is gone for you. You want to go to a fucking machine? Look at how beautiful this is. Just how it looks. He could have used this, worked off of this, but instead, fuck the eyes, fuck the nose, fuck the mouth. Those are AI. He could have figured something else out for that. He could have done something with this. And what did he do? He's gonna fucking prompt Midjourney, make a bunch of images, erase the heads, do a bunch of work to warp it. Like, so much more work than just figuring it out.
That's the ironic part.
You're fucking an idiot. You're an idiot. To generate I'm sorry.
3 images because he's like, I couldn't find a reference for the flowing hair that I wanted. I looked through photo stock. I looked through references that artists were selling. I looked everywhere and I couldn't find it. And I know what you guys are going to say. I could have done it a million other different ways, but AI is the only way I could have found that specific hair flowing that I was looking for. My dude, you already did it. You could have done
it the first way. You could have done it. Yeah, you could have done it the first way.
You already sketched it out in the 10th step in your process. You already sketched it out, my dude. You already had it. Not only that, you didn't even have it, and you had to go to AI, get all of this like warping the spaghetti angel
like
hair.
Dog shit, by the way.
He had to liquefy what you did, my man,
and this is a compliment. Compared to what we were just looking at in that 3D space, this looks like dog shit. That is beautiful. We'll go back to the 3D space. That shit is beautiful. You are a talented motherfucker. Seeing you do this is sickening. Not only because you are rescinding the artist in you. You are destroying yourself, my man. Stop it. Look within yourself. Find some help. Stop it.
That's crazy. The fact that he was like, I couldn't find a reference to what I wanted it to look like. Well, that's the artistic process, my dude. You already look at what you did. This already has like 10 times more life than whatever the heck this weird amalgamation of hair is. Honestly, he could have just taken a picture of like some blonde lady's hair on a stock photo image and liquefied the shit out of it. And he could have just made the same thing. And it would have been 10 times more ethical.
Yeah. Weird. What a weird guy. This is what I mean, is that I don't understand how he's defending such small things when, you know what I mean? That's why I'm like, some of this has to be, he has to use AI for more than just what he's saying. For him to fucking blatantly defend it blind. Look, wait, go back to that image. Wait. There was, that one. It was, forward. It was like, it showed like,
we're not there yet.
But, oh, damn it. When we get, see? Oh, damn it. Keep going. All right, let's shut up. I'm sorry, everyone.
Bun is like, please get help. Is he saying that AI is better than actual art? No, Vic. He's saying, so Ergojosh is saying that you can use AI art ethically. He said that was his first statement in the beginning of the video. We are observing what he means by that. And so far, we're not impressed. This is not ethical. I thought he was going to feed the AI algorithm his own artwork because he does do amazing artwork. And I thought he was going to generate. Artist. Yeah, I thought it was going to generate his own artwork back at him.
How lazy can you be? How can you call yourself an artist at that point? That's why I'm like, this guy is not an art. Like, you're right. He makes a beautiful art, but look at what he's doing, Izzy. Look at how much trouble he's going through to be lazy.
I don't think it's laziness. I think he doesn't care if the AI, the AI generated images are stolen, and he thinks that that's like a valid place of reference. Do what himself?
If he's not lazy, why doesn't he just do it himself? We just saw that 3D space.
Because he likes using references. Like you saw, like the first, like this whole thing is built off of references, and that's exactly how artists work. Like, you want to be using references. You don't truly, a lot of artists think the peak, you are a master if you can work off of your own imagination, but that rarely happens. Most, if not all the time, artists will use references. That is how you get better.
That's true.
So
I work off of my imagination, and it's always miss. I only hit like every billion years.
Exactly. So a really, really good artist will use a lot of references, and different inspirations, everything, right? So he's thinking like an artist. However, the methods that he's using to construct this is not what an artist, like an ethical artist, would do. This is not ethical. He is using AI generated images. He had to liquefy it to fit his image in his head. And he's saying, we are immature, us as an audience, we are immature for saying that this is stolen. I understand where he's coming from, where he's saying, oh, this whole image isn't stolen, but you are using stolen assets to build your artwork. So in a way, it is stolen. I'm not trying to be immature. I'm not trying to attack him. That's just what it is. The art that he's using has been stolen from another artist. It's plain and simple as that. If he doesn't want to understand it that way, then I'm sorry. He's not going to understand. But maybe one day when his art is being stolen and being fed through like AI algorithm, he will understand. Let me ask you this, Josh. Let me ask you this, like really politely. I haven't been attacking you, by the way, if you've noticed this. I haven't called you any names. I've been completely respectful to you, even though you called me mature, Josh, even though you immature. You called me immature. You called the audience immature. So I'm being completely respectful to you here, Josh. So let me just say this. At what point are you going to stop at these references, right? Because AI can build a whole image for you. You realize that, right? Like, you don't have to pay that in the first image. Hold on, let me go back here. Where is the image that you used?
The eyes?
No, the lady. The artist model that he paid for.
It's back way before she had her head.
Did it? Oh, there it is. Okay.
There it is.
Okay. Josh, artist to artist, no judgment. Kind of judgment. Don't worry about that. Let's put that aside. Let's put our judgment aside. Don't worry. I forgive you. Josh, you called me immature. Girl, don't worry about it. It's okay. Don't worry. We're being a couple little bimches here. Don't worry. Artist to artist, Josh. This reference image that you bought in the beginning, you said you bought this from the artist. This is a reference pose. I believe you. I have no reason to doubt that you did that because you've been totally transparent with this whole thing, right? You've been transparent. You know, you could have just generated that through AI, right? You could have generated an image just like that. Why didn't you? Why did you pay this artist for her pose? Why couldn't you have just generated that AI image? And let me ask you this. What is stopping you in future artworks that you are going to draw from generating a pose like her? What is going to stop you? Because you're saying this is ethical, right? So if you generated hair for reference, why didn't you just generate a whole image from AI? Just because you're saying this is not a slippery slope, because you're saying you're just using these certain elements for references for your artwork, right? What is stopping you from not generating full poses or full images in the future if you say this is ethical? What's the line? Is it just the hair? Is it just the pose? Is it just hands? Is it just eyes? Just a thought, Josh. Just a thought. All right, let's keep seeing what you're gonna say. Julius Caesar wasn't stabbed this much. Yeah. I wonder if you could Google reverse that hair to find the artist that made it. I probably could Google image reverse that image. I wonder what prompt. Actually, you know what, Josh? Here's another question for you. What prompt did you use in Midjourney? Just curious, as an artist, I want to know your process. What is the prompt that you put in? For the
eyes and the hair.
Yeah, for the eyes and the hair. Because correct me if I'm wrong, Josh, because I don't use AI myself. I'm an artist. I don't use AI. What did you type to get that specific art style? Did you type an artist name into there, Josh? I'm curious.
Please enlighten us. Yes.
Please, Josh. Please. My DMs are wide open. I have nothing in my DMs. Literally, nobody's reaching out to me. If you open my DMs, there will be a moth flying out of there because no one's in there. I promise you, Josh, I will see your DMs if you DM me. I want to know.
Real people that posed and sell those photographs, and I purchased them from ArtStation. I used everything, right? So when you hear, oh, someone used AI, you need to think a lot more critically about how that can be used. This isn't a game. This isn't a war about being who's right or who's wrong or who's good or who's bad. This is about...
I agree, Josh. This isn't a right or wrong thing. This is an ethics thing. This is a morals thing. My morals.
I can't believe Vic and Tim both thought his voice was AI at the same time. Holy shit. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
No, that's so funny. That's crazy. So funny. That is so funny. Josh, girl, you're starting to sound kind of you're starting to sound like AI just a little bit. Are you sure you're microdosing AI? Are you sure? You might be straight up using AI. Who's Josh? Oh, hi, Hilly. So,
hi, Hilly.
We're talking about Ergojosh. Here, actually, you know what? I'm going to post the actual original video. I'm going to have it in my description. Don't worry, Josh. You're going to get your credit. Even though the other artists that you used for this AI model are not going to get credit, you're going to get credit, though. He's an artist that is starting to use AI, and he's trying to justify it in this video. He called everybody that thinks that using AI is immature, or like that if you think that using AI is bad, you're immature. And that he says that it's not about being right or wrong, or about, being, what did he say, like good or bad. It's like, you're just being immature.
Video, actually. Yeah. Just in case
Never heard of him.
Takes it down.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he's going to take it down. I think he's going to double down. And I have a few theories on why.
I know he will too. But just in case. What I mean? Just in case.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Hilly. Yeah. Well, I used to watch him back. He used to be a really popular YouTube artist. I mean, he still probably will be. I have a few theories on where he's going with this. But yes, I used to watch him. And he had a very moving video here. Actually, let me show you guys really quick. I'm not going to play any of the video, but I just want to show you this video that he made. Where is it? I think it's this one. I know why everybody's quitting YouTube. And he kind of had a heart-to-heart. And I really liked his vibe in this video. He touched upon a lot of things that, YouTubers and artists content creators in general have an issue with. And I resonated with what he said. I'm going to be for real with you. I resonated with what he said. Now he went to the dark side. He's using AI images. And again, Josh, if you're listening to this, hi, but also I'm using words like dark side and evil and bad and whatever. I'm just don't worry about that. Like, I'm using it like hyperbole. That's just how I talk. I promise you, like, I'm not seeing this as a black and white thing. I know that there's gray areas to this, But the way that you're trying to justify this, I cannot see it your way. I just cannot. I explained to you in this video why, but you know, you're saying again, this isn't like a good and bad thing. This isn't like a you're right and I'm wrong. And it's true. I agree with you, Josh. This is not you're right and I'm wrong. You know, it's this way and that way. It's good or bad. I just want to let you know that this is a morals and an ethics issue. I have different morals and ethics than you do. You have different morals and ethics than I do. My morals and my ethics say that it is bad to use a tool that has been stealing off of artists' work. There are a lot of artists suing Midjourney because they've been using their artwork illegally. Plagiarism, stealing, profiting off of. So I side with those artists because I wouldn't want my artwork to be stolen and fed through a machine. Those are my morals, right? I don't think that's morally correct. You think that it is ethical and morally correct to use tools like Midjourney that steal and profit off of other artists' work. Those are your morals. That's fine. Like, I'm not going to try to change you or make you see it my way because you've clearly made up your mind with this video. And you have been making up your mind. I've been seeing your posts from months ago. So I understand where you're coming from, but you also have to have the maturity and see that other people have different opinions than you, have different morals and ethics than you. And I know you're going to get defensive because everybody is going to be calling, or they are calling you, you know, bad words. They're calling you bad for using AI artwork, that you don't care, that whatever, right? I would get defensive too. If people started telling me that I was a bad person for using something that I believed in, I would get defensive too. Honestly, I would. I understand it. However, Josh, we do have different morals. My morals tell me not to use something that has been stealing from artists, and your morals tell you that it's okay. We're just going to see different on this. And I'm sorry that, you know, you think that way. I can go blue in the face explaining to you why this is not ethical, but you already made up your mind. I know this. This is more of a me thing. Like, I want to see where you're coming from. Maybe you don't want to see where I'm coming from. That's fine. But I'm curious about you. I want to see how you're doing. Checking up on you. Yeah, I sound heated. Are you going to turn this into a call out reply video? Maybe, Josh, if you want to talk, we can have, honestly, Josh, I know I'm kind of small peanuts right now. I would like to talk to you about this. I would be really interested in talking to you about this. I'm open to you. For real. I want to know when you started having these thoughts that AI was ethical and that it was moral for you to use this, and why you refuse to use other assets at your disposal, like reference photos, Clip Studio paint brushes, Procreate brushes that artists already sell. I want to know. I promise I won't attack you. I want to understand. I feel like we could come to an understanding. Although I think that understanding would be, you think it's fine and I don't think it's fine. But to call us immature is a bit immature of you yourself. The way you're voicing it makes it sound like this Josh guy is personal. If you've been betrayed by your best friend, it's very convincing. Well, Hilly, I just want Josh to know that, you know, because I know a lot of people are attacking him. I'm just saying, Josh, do you want to collab? We could be on a Discord call. I'd like to talk to you. This would be very interesting to talk about. All right, let's go.
Growing and maturing in your own skill and learning new skill sets and finding a place where they can be fitting to your own complex view of the world and your own morality here. This isn't supporting theft, right? That's a very simple-minded way to view this. And I say that with complete confidence when you hear that someone used a tool and you associate it with everything else. It's extremely immature, and it's part of why I'm making this video, because I feel this needs to be said, and a lot of people are fearful about saying this, but I'm in a position where I can express this. So let's continue. Here you see...
He is in a position to express this. This guy has 738,000 subscribers. He's not pressed about this. I mean, he called me simple-minded and mature. Don't worry, Josh, girl, I forgive you. You're going through it right now, Josh. This isn't supporting theft exactly, Tim. This isn't supporting theft, really? I'm very curious about your mental gymnastics, Josh. I'm very curious.
I have traced even more. And
Josh is just tired of being an artist. He wants a shortcut.
I wanted to capture the essence of it and use it as a reference without actually tracing it as well. So I'm aware of all of these different nuanced things. A newbie would just take the image and just trace it and try to hope that it would fit. I know that I need to skew the images. I know that I need to use multiple layers. I know that I need to cut it and it's not going to be perfectly how I want. This is one of several images of this exact type that I use to create this. You see these lines, it's just a mess. Like, what is that? But I decide to find random shapes here that fit an idea of what I'm looking for, right? You see, this doesn't look like the exact image that's there. I don't trace every single line. So now you can see without the images below, the AI generated images from Midjourney, what the hair begins to look like. And it's quite, you could almost say it's messy. The line weights are kind of everywhere, but you can see some of these original shapes I had here, right? Do you see that? In the hairline, do you see that shape there? It's not really there. I envisioned it and I added it and I changed it afterwards without even having the reference there to get the result that I wanted. I remain the artist in control here. I am the one making the decisions. And that is what separates me from someone who uses AI to just shit out artworks, for lack of, sorry for that crude term, and just say that they're theirs. I'm a director here. It's like I'm directing a film. I have an idea of what I want and I'm stopping at nothing until it gets to that place that I want. Here I hide the hair and I'm thinking about making the eyes a lot more intense. And you can see I've explored, I just had fun painting in the lips red and I thought that might be a cool symbolic idea. Earlier when I had the black wisps flowing around like this, I thought of having an orb here and her having a little laser piercing that orb. I thought that was cool and that's something that persists through the rest of the process. But you can see I really liked that image and what that represents, just the solid lips there. And I thought, wait a second, once I opened up the eyes, I kind of wanted to change the eye position so that it looks more convincing that she's looking through this orb in that direction. So here you can see I refined that a little bit and I wasn't sure if, well, I kind of like how she's looking at the viewer here. I like this eyebrow here being very obvious in her raised expression. And you see these breaks in her body are areas where the hair is flowing through, and I had that masked out using a mask in Procreate. Now you can see the hair added back in. You can see what I was talking about with those breaks in the body line. And I was really liking how this flow was going. I loved how I was able to add hair that was flowing through her fingers so that it looks like it's in this scene, right? You see the hair flowing in between her fingers here. I really loved how that looked, and I was very happy with the composition at this point. I knew that this is where I wanted to go with the image. Now you see, I rendered a few more images of hair that were a lot more stylized, and they were very light gray. I'll show what the full...
He said rendered. I guess I'm going to let him speak because I don't know if that's like AI generated or he legit rendered that.
What I'm sure happened is he took an AI generated piece of hair and rendered over it. I'm sure that's what happened.
Okay, because that image on the left there, that looks like waves, but like not hair waves, like water waves.
Maybe so he generated it then.
Versions of them look like, and I decided I wanted a little bit more dynamism, but I wanted to really make sure that it fit into the space. So what I did was I took this image that I had drawn, the line work, I brought it into PureRef on my Mac and then used it as an overlay and went to a perspective grid website and adjusted the grid so that it fit exactly the perspective I had drawn this character in, so that I could bring that perspective grid back into my artwork in Procreate and actually manipulate the hair into the correct perspective here. This is a very high level of work and intention and rigor that I'm doing because I have a certain standard that I want with my work and I want it to feel a certain way. This isn't just copy and tracing like you hear and think like a 5-year-old when you hear the word tracing. And so I'm saying this again to push that people need to think more when they hear certain terms being used.
He obviously has using digital high standard of himself.
Art meant that you weren't
like the way
that
he
you didn't
talks.
know how to paint.
Sorry.
At all.
Okay.
But now look, right? It isn't so simple as
Wait, what
things
did he?
being used.
What?
It used to be that using digital art meant that you weren't shit, that you didn't know how to paint at all. But now look, right? It isn't so simple as if you use this, you don't know.
Oh, Josh. Come on, Josh. That's such an old and tired excuse. Oh my gosh. That is such like so many AI art bros use that. They're like, oh, using Photoshop used to mean that you weren't a real artist. Everyone would just think that you would just generate an image of a click of a button if you used digital art. Like, it's true. In the past, people did not take kindly to digital artists because that's what they thought it was. They literally thought it was AI generated images. Like, we would literally type on the computer, like, computer, type in woman swimming in a pool, and like it would just make it really for us. Yeah, now it really is. That's actually it in AI. But before, that's what people thought digital, when you would digitally be a digital artist, that's what they thought that you would do. But you see how that doesn't, like, you can't compare that to this. Like, come on, Josh. Come on. You know deep in your heart, that's not what we're seeing at all. And he's very defensive. Like, you could hear it in his voice. He's like, oh, you guys think like you're so immature. This isn't actual tracing like a 5-year-old. He sounds very like very defensive. So I don't know, Josh.
Well, that's the thing, is that he's talking to us like children. He's like, you don't understand. This is a very high level work process that I'm doing right now. It isn't like tracing like a 5-year-old. It's like, dude, who are you talking to? Who do you think you are? You know what I mean? You think you're fucking Picasso?
He's being condescending because he's like, in his head, he's like, oh, people that don't like AI like generated images, all they think it's like tracing. They think I'm just doing this and that. You must be stupid if you think I'm doing that. Well, Josh, the issue again isn't like we think that it's just AI is bad. It's just ethically wrong. It's stolen artwork that you're using for your artwork, and you're Frankensteining it to your artwork. That's where we have the issue.
Many people wouldn't have the ability to actually be able to think this critically about their work. I'm not saying you need to or it means anything, but this is me showing how much intention and care I put into this illustration, right? And it's something that people need to be able to do if they want to start standing out, because these tools are going to...
The artists that you use, like the images that he generated from the artworks, they also drew their art with intention as well. They also did it with intention as well. So again, I don't understand. Maybe I'm not getting it. I don't know.
Allow people to do bigger and better projects much faster. I don't have to have years of learning perspective to be able to do this anymore. This tool is online for free. It might as well be an AI as well, right? So let's continue. I randomly decided to have the...
No, wrong. Wrong. Josh, come on, dude. Every single digital tool that helps us as artists, you cannot conflate it to AI. Was a grid stolen? Can you steal a grid? Did an artist make that grid? Can you
steal perspective? Is he? Oh my God, I almost just...
Yeah. Can you steal perspective? Can you steal an artist's brush textures? You can argue some textures are like copyrighted and stuff like that, but let's get back to the point. Can you steal that? I super dislike it when digital artists or like AI artists try to be like, oh yeah, like the digital artist tools that you use aren't like equal to AI. It's just totally different.
They're not equal to AI, because AI fucking does something that those tools don't do. Those tools are tools. The AI generated images that he's talking about, that he's using, quote unquote, those are fully made images. My brush, when I make a stroke, doesn't make a full fucking image.
It doesn't make a full image of previous stolen artwork.
Yes, I have to work with a brush. I have to work with the warping of the hair. Whatever the fuck you did to the AI generated hair, you had to work with that. You used the warping tool. But what you were warping is not a tool. It is theft.
It's stolen art. I'm curious. How does Josh think those images are being made? is that like, can he acknowledge that?
Dude.
Yeah, can he actually acknowledge that in the video? Can he just say the AI images that were generated were used using other artists' work? Is that something he can acknowledge in this video? Because he keeps saying it's another tool to help artists. However, that tool is using stolen images, but he doesn't want to say it. He wants to be like deflect. He wants to be like, oh, this grid might as well be AI. The brush that I'm using, it might as well be AI. This might as well be AI. But it's like the difference is that AI is using stolen artwork. So I wonder if Josh knows that the images that he's generating from the AI is stolen artwork. I know. I just want to make him think.
The background pink, and I decided it was helpful to refine the lines, so I started to do that.
He's gonna get upset.
Here's me refining
again,
and trying to decide what I wanted to do with the eyes. If I want to have them looking this way, if I wanted to have them looking at the viewer, I shrunk.
Yeah, exactly, Vic. My computer might as well be AI. My mouse might as well be AI. My monitor might as well be AI. Where does it stop?
Oh no, my mouse just bought a whole 12-pack of beer. Oops. It has a mind of its own.
The head a little bit because I noticed it was a little bit too big. And here,
hell, Hilly might even be AI. My house might as well be AI. I finally
start committing to the hair design and erasing away.
That's a good movie.
I get a mask for the body that was not covered by the hair. And here, you see, I finally start going into the extremely laborious process of masking away every single strand and lock of hair that I wanted so that I could manipulate them separately in my painting. At some point as well, I also thought I wanted to have the grid line behind her, and I would keep the overall illustration very high key. So you see some of it is erased there for me to get an idea of what it would look like. And here I started to color and fill in much more roughly and use different colors to decide what is closer to the viewer and what is further back in distance. And you can see, again, even with all the AI I used before, I still went in and drew new locks of hair based off of the heightened intuition I have when I draw via...
Josh, we get it, buddy. You're such a good artist. We're not saying anything other than that. This is high level art, guys. Like, I don't even want to like. I was gonna say something vulgar. I don't even want to,
I wish you'd say
it. Inflate Josh's ego. I don't want to do some Pengus sucking here, but like I'm going to recognize here, Josh is this is high level art like process. If you guys haven't seen this before, like this is exactly what high level artist process look like. And you rarely get to see this, by the way. You guys only see finished artwork from like really high level artists. This is how they work. And it's kind of crazy. Like they all have their own methods, but this is generally how their methods go. You see that number on the bottom right? It says 24. They go through so many iterations of their artwork. It's insane. And each one of the iteration for me is its own completed artwork. But to them, it's like, oh, this is just a work in progress. I need to keep at it. I totally like this is a level of mastery that I wish to accomplish one day. This is something to strive for, right? This is so amazing. Cool. This is crazy. This is
the reason that I wanted to be an artist was like seeing this level of art, but also seeing like animations, like just the way that artists will bring things to life. That is what it means to be an artist. And the fact that he used AI, I can't appreciate this piece.
It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking that he would have to rely on AI to do this because he's trying to justify it again, guys. And don't let him like convince you otherwise. Although again, this will be up to your morals if you think this is correct or not. Like he can't convince you otherwise, and neither can I. This would be up to your own morals to decide if a part of this process is stealing and if it's not stealing, or like if you even care if it's stealing.
The parts that are for sure stolen that we know of, I don't know about the hands. The hands looked very different in the beginning, but the eyes, the nose, the lips, and the hair are all for sure reference from stolen images made by
not the hands. Not the hands.
I I didn't say the hands. I said the eyes, the nose, the lips, and the hair.
Didn't he say just the eyes?
I saw the nose. I saw him take the nose from the AI, though. I saw him take the whole face. Like, look at the face, and then go look at the 3 images and tell me that those aren't the same. And just to clarify,
just what Bun means by taking is referencing. But again, just because he's referencing from an unethical source. That's the problem.
Yes, exactly. That's the problem.
Josh will argue, I referenced it. I didn't trace it. I didn't just copy and paste it. Like, we know that. We saw your process. You referenced it from an unethical source, though. The same with the hair. And the fact that he's like, I drew these strands all on my own. And it's like, you clearly could have drawn the strands from the beginning. You chose not to, though. You chose to reference stolen artwork. You could have drawn everything from the beginning.
Like, what are you trying to say, Josh?
I really love the nose before. Yeah, the nose before was really cute. Again, referencing will make your artwork better, but you just have to be careful where you're referencing your artwork.
Painting shapes versus just using line. So even then, the final result for the cascade of hair is something that I could not get with AI alone. I had to have my own vision for this, and I followed it to the very end. Here is where I finally start testing out, okay, what's going to be the lighting scheme for this? And I thought, why not have it really dark and black? And I thought of a certain piece that Loish did in the past that I really liked. And I was inspired by that. I looked at that for reference. I broke down the values, and I did something really...
Loish is one of the artists that I used to follow when I was in middle school. Her artwork is amazing. Do you think Loish had to use or reference AI artwork to get to that? She envisioned that in her head. She had an idea. She constructed it on, her tablet or sketching or whatever. And she did that herself. She did not have to reference AI artwork. I ask you this, Josh, why do you feel like you need to reference AI artwork?
And
if you are such a proficient artist, why do you feel the need to be unethical and reference stolen artwork?
True. Facts.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, exactly what you said. Do you think that she referenced AI? But it's not even just, like, the anatomy. It's not just the colors. It's the lighting, the softness of it. It's everything. Like, that is what an artist to me is like bringing something they feel inside out into the world. Like untainted, pure feeling. Like, look at that.
Well, I don't know. I don't really like those words though, like untainted and pure and like, AI is dirty and whatever. I don't know. I kind of just don't like those words. It's just like some people just technically
I'm just talking about the feeling.
I know, but I'm just saying you feel the feeling. But some artists, sometimes they just draw. They're like, I'm doing this on a technical level. I don't even feel anything, to be honest. I'm just drawing this. And this is like just a testament to my ability, to my technical ability to transfer what I am thinking in my head to problem solve on the piece of paper and to put it on, a paper and execute it successfully. So Loish, she's able to do that. Whether she did this, she conveyed an emotion here, and that's what Bun is feeling. You're feeling like the humanity from the picture. And like you're like, okay, it has a feeling to it, right? That's the human element. However, Josh, I won't say that his artwork does not have a human element to it, because obviously he did draw it himself. He had reference. The problem is that it's unethical. He referenced it unethically. And again, I ask you this, Josh, why do you have to reference AI art, something that's unethical? Yet somebody that you look up to like Loish does not have to do that. Are you that not proficient as an artist that you had to go to AI to reference something because you couldn't get it on paper? Is there not another way you could have worked around that could have not involved stolen artwork? I also ask you this, can you please acknowledge that the art that you are generating from Midjourney is stolen? That's it. That's all I want you to acknowledge, because you clearly don't think that it's wrong, but it would be nice for you to actually say in a statement, I do acknowledge that the art generated by Midjourney is stolen, and I'm using it as reference. And I don't care because it makes my workflow go faster. Honestly, I would respect you more for that. You can call me simple-minded and immature for not agreeing with you. I just think I would respect you just that much more if you actually did acknowledge that the images that you referenced and that you overlaid on your art is stolen, even if you liquefied it. Also asking you this, Josh, as well, because I'm curious. Why don't you just get like Loish's artwork and like liquefy it? Is that because that would be stealing? I don't know, just a thought.
Rough here with a soft brush. Here, I went back to it being high key and thought maybe it would look better like this with very light gray background. I don't know. I was still not sure. At this point, I'm refining the lines for the hair even more, and I'm changing the color of the line work for the hair so that I can clearly see it with what I had already done and clearly see it separate from the line work for the body. And here, I'm finally getting to the point where I've almost colored in all of the hair, and I knew I wanted it all to be red for this. Here, I make a lot more progress shading the body, and I started adding a lot more details with the lighting, but I was doing this with it mostly lit really bright in the background, and I still wasn't entirely sure where it would go, but I was happy with this area. It was starting to look nice and complete. And here is where I take that light shading and I use a screen layer, most likely, to apply it to a darker background. And I decide to keep her body dark red and just have the piece very monochromatic to start off with. And I start shading what I believe to be the parts of the hair that would be lit directly by the light source, which would be this orb right here. I also thought I would have a light source coming in from the top like this, but that conflicted, and I decided for the only light source to be this orb. Here, I went back again thinking, well, maybe do I want it to be bright and have it really pink and have the hair flowing around in this bright white space? And maybe these light pinks here kind of looked cool. And I thought, well, if this doesn't work, maybe it will still work out for a painting in the future. Here is where I played around with some layers and discovered, wait, it looks really good, bright red right here. And started just quickly putting in some areas of shadow here to give the background some depth. And once I did that, I knew that this is going to be where the painting would go because I really loved how this composition looked overall. And I knew I wanted a very light lavender contrasting with the reds and pinks. Here, it's just a little bit more refinement, starting to get that velvety texture in the hair a bit more. Here you can see I'm isolating the hair to paint, which helps me a lot when I isolate certain parts. Here I've added a lot more shadows to give the overall painting a lot more dynamism. But I'm starting to notice that her face looks really weird and that I drew the eyes almost offset in this direction way too far. And they don't look right because they were originally kind of opened very slightly like this. And so when I made that change, it just wasn't right. Here, I start playing around with how this would look with lighting coming from the orb that's just global lighting. Maybe that would bridge some of these values and fix those errors. But although it did help me get a good vision for the overall image, it still didn't fix what I thought it would, and it started to lose details. So here I use a layer to start reworking the face. I decided I'm just going to completely redraw the face. I'm going to use some references from someone I think draws faces really well, which was John Zylstra. I just had them off to the side and was working on the face that I felt would be best for this here. So after a while, I get something more realistic, more stylized, but still she kind of looks like a gremlin a bit. So I keep going. Looks a little bit better, but her chin is a little bit too masculine. I played with an elf ear here and I decided I really liked it. And so what I did here was decide, okay, well, I've already shaded a lot of the stuff, so maybe I could cut that out and mold it to fit the new lines that I had drawn for the face. So I did that and I isolated the body entirely and went ahead and started to add a tail because I thought that would be cool. I've never drawn a tail before and I thought it would be a good match with the elf ear here. And so here I had done a little bit more refinement on the face, if you can tell from the lines, but not with the shading. So her chin is smaller. It looks a little bit more feminine. It looks more just appealing overall.
Okay. Slay,
and I
Josh.
had made a lot of work with the line weight for the hair and added a lot more details. As you can see, this again looks nothing like the AI that I used.
I mean, simply just really interesting, Josh. I think this is interesting.
I'm not using the AI as a reference anymore at all that I generated for the hair. It's back to just being me. I made over 115,000 strokes to complete this illustration. Every single pixel is painted by yours truly. So here I start trying to bridge these shapes back in that I had painted. Since I had isolated them, I'm getting a lot more detail and refinement with the body and getting a lot of subtle values in here. Subtle value changes that help
he just wants to use AI just to throw it away.
Back into the full
to reference it. Yeah, I know. He just threw away the eyes that he referenced from AI.
Too much and her face
so he didn't even need to do that.
The
hair.
What's his argument?
Select like I often
do. His argument is that
that's
how you can ethically use AI.
Try to work on it, isolate it again. And here, after doing that, I decided to break down the values using Clip Studio Paint quickly.
He referenced it for the hair.
and I messed with the curves and stuff using
that's
a couple
the hill you want to die on, Josh.
just for photo editing.
Exactly.
So in Clip Studio Paint, what I did was I used the posterize tool to break this down into 4 values only after making it grayscale.
He could have done a million other things.
I thought were really good and do the same thing and look at how their values were broken down and compare them to mine.
It is really good art.
I realized that I would paint this way and try to isolate and change which shapes do I want to be.
It's inspirational, isn't it? Like when I see him talking about his artistic process, it makes me want to draw as well.
Work on it. Let me clear this.
It's just sad that he would use.
To erase a lot of the lines. Yeah. Here I am adjusting the size of the hands and the head a bit, and the shape of the head.
For nothing, he did just the hair.
The values only.
This is it.
Really. Here is where I get.
You guys look at the lower right. This is his 48th,
the progress I made
49th
grayscale
revise.
I was able to come back
see it.
and refine the face to a point where I'm very, very happy with it.
It says it on the lower right hand side. 49.
To redraw this hand based off of a photo of my hand and a anatomy reference from a website called hatoking.com, and I used an AI generated image of an elf boy, and I liked how the ear looked in that image that I saw on Pinterest, so I just copied it. Could have been another artist painting that I looked at to copy.
This okay. Can I just say, I don't know what artist, okay, who got their art stolen to create that type of art style. Every time I see that art style, I clock it from a mile away. I know you, yep. I don't want to, I've been trying to refrain from using like curse words. I know some of you cozy bitches use that as your profile picture constantly. You guys feed it. I don't know what art prompt you use. I don't know what poor artist you stole from, but I'm so sick and tired of seeing that type of art style in profile pictures of these cozy bitches in these cozy spaces of these cozy streamers constantly. I see them all the time. You think I can't clock it? I see it from a mile away. They follow me. I don't follow them back. And oh, surprise, surprise, they unfollow me probably like 3 days later because all they're looking for is a follow for follow. And it's always an elf girl. It's always an anime girl. And it has that like red tint to it that it pisses me off. That poor artist, because I like that art style. But every time I see that artwork now, I'm like, that's AI generated. And I know it's always some like, it'll have like, you know, their username will be like, cozy toast girl, matcha tea latte, neko cat, cozy girl, whatever. I can clock you. I know what you're doing. And they're the first ones to post on their Twitter accounts. I hate AI art. AI art is so bad. But it's like, oh, it wasn't bad when you were using it as your profile picture. You think I can't clock that? Just a little rant there. Let's go back to Josh though. Because you bet your ass the cozy girls caught some strays here, but let's go back to Josh because he's the main focus, the main topic of this. Not Josh using an AI generated elf ear to reference for his elf ear. You're telling me out of all of the fantasy artists, what is it called, Bun? High fantasy, where it's like elves and like, okay, high fantasy artists out there, you couldn't find one to reference your elf ear? You had to use one that was AI generated. There is a ton of high fantasy art has been around for so long. And I'm pretty sure it had its heyday in the 80s when high fantasy was super popular in the 80s. You are telling me you couldn't go online and reference one of your favorite high fantasy artists out there?
This is his 4th use. What were the other 3?
The spaghetti hair, the eyes, and the elf ear.
That's
the eyes,
3.
Yeah. How much do you say?
This is the 4th use.
Did he use another one that we're just missing it?
Let's finish the video and we can go search later.
Yeah. Abby says, I love listening to his process, but then I would hate listening to the AI aspects of it. How much cooler it would be if it was just the references, just looking at the other pieces he wants it to look like and trying to do that exactly.
It made no difference, right? But because I say that it's AI, all of a sudden it's problematic. That's the problem.
It made no difference. It does make a difference. One is ethical and one is not. If you don't agree with those ethics, I understand that, but it does make a difference.
Addressing with this video, just another example. I think that's silly.
It is. It is. It just is. It simply is. According to your ethics, it's not. Like if somebody steals something and they get caught and they get arrested, you know, maybe in their head, they're like, oh, stealing isn't bad. Yeah, maybe according to you, but not according to the law, not according to some people's morals. Maybe your morals, it's fine to steal. Not according to mine.
Who has the lawsuit with the AI thing right now? It's like an industry.
So many artists, like at least 6 big artists.
No, I wish I'm talking like shit was stolen from someone, and then there's like a lawsuit happening from like a big company. It's like Warner Brothers big, but I forget who.
I don't remember.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, but there's like, I mean, if Josh really wants to make that argument to be able to draw some hair, some eyes, lips, and an ear, I mean, you die on that hill, Josh. Good
It's
on
true.
you, dog.
I mean, come on, Josh, an elf ear. I could have stomached the hair because I see you were struggling with that maybe. Although from your sketch, it looks like you had it pretty all locked down, right? But maybe not. Maybe you thought that was kind of mid, whatever. The elf ear. Really? It doesn't matter where you got it from? I don't know. Maybe I would ask the artist that the image that was generated from. Maybe you ask them. Does it matter?
The multitude of artists that were stolen from.
Here, I shaded in the face with one of my famous sketching brushes from my Ergo Sketch 3.0 brush pack, and started to adjust the hair to fit the new hand and to fit
being downright
the new
goofy right now, Josh.
Of this hand here. So that took a little bit of backtracking, but overall, I'm happy with the decision. And I'm very happy with the line work at this point. So now you can see how much better the shapes are with the changes I did to the value system. So now you can see much better shapes that define the overall image very clearly without being too complicated, even though there is a lot of line work going on in this painting. And I've included the tail in this as well. And you can tell that the light source should be somewhere right here because that's where the brightest parts of the image are.
Let's speed it up just a little bit again. I use a special process
to bring that value system back into the original painting. And then I start trying to bring everything back to this level with the colors and the values here. So that took a while, but I eventually got it to work. And now this is finally looking like how the final image looks. And you see the lines are red here because I wanted to continue to refine the line work for the hair, but it was so chaotic that I wanted to clearly see what I had drawn and what I hadn't drawn and all that. So here I'm starting to erase a lot of the lines and hide them because the more edges I can make look right without the line work, the better it will be overall in the end. So you can see the progress I made here with how that edge works nicely even without the lines, how the edge of her face here works really nicely even without the lines, working even more, lots of little refinements with the shadows and the highlights, trying to see, I use multiple different values for the velvety light lit parts of the hair to make sure that if a hair strand over here is lit, it's not nearly as bright as one that's this close or one that's this close. Here's where I remove all the lines again and start to work with it just to see how far I can take it without worrying about without needing the line work. And so you can see areas like this look really nice and refined, and you can understand the hair starts to actually look three-dimensional here, right? This is nothing like how the images looked that I generated from Midjourney do, right? They were hyper-realistic, they were grayscale, they were flat, they had every single hair strand there. These are nice velvety pieces of fabric, really. They're not really hair strands. They just look like they are because of the way I drew them. And at this point, I decided, okay, well, let me start going in here, start adding some fun
nice
purple colors to the hair, start really refining the detail and getting these hair locks to look 3D, adding some subsurface scattering to the ear and the nose here, and really refining all the fingers. And here is where I used another tool, which is just a photo filter that I use from apps like PixArt or Ultralight on my iPad. And I really like how it made the colors really cool. This is something I'll often do. I'll bring it into one of those apps or I'll bring it into the Photos app, and then I will adjust the lighting or the contrast, just like any artist would in Photoshop. And sometimes I'll use filters.
I wonder if they'll be like, oh, that might as well be an AIR tool as well.
And I'll like how it looks.
I wonder if he considers that AI.
Procreate, and then I'll overlay it somehow because I don't always like how it looks perfectly. I always want more of the raw image.
Because I've heard that argument too.
So now you can see that's with that added. Some vignetting has been applied to the edges. The colors are a little bit cooler. You see that cool highlight here, some purples here in the skin, a lot more refinement in the hand here. I hid the orb because I wanted to be able to stand alone without it. That's me taking a lot of initiative to make sure I can paint this and I don't neglect it because the orb is going to be translucent. And so here I adjust the colors again using various filters and just curves in Procreate, and I'm refining it even more. You can see the difference here is where I'm getting the hair to flow a little bit better, hiding some parts, making them more precise. And here you can see I did a huge change here, which I think really, really improved the piece. I brightened up a lot more of the values here so that they merged and flowed together and reduced the size of her mouth a bit, which made her look gave her a little bit more character here. And instead of just the one big orb, I wanted to have it kind of resemble a planetary entity or star in some way. And I started to add some subtle colors. I did that well before, but some subtle colors to the eyes here, and thinking about how this area of the hand would be lit. Now I had to make sure that even though these values are all similar, how can I get this hand to stand out and look
Since
like
I'm blocking it, this is a 63rd
and you can see I start getting rid of some of the lines, which make this
of the
look a lot
piece.
softer and ephemeral. You can see there was a lot of work done here, which is where this is almost done. I soften a lot of the shadows here. You can see I add some more shadows here to give this depth. I refine some of the craziness.
We're almost done, guys.
The shadow here.
We're down to the home stretch. I don't think he's going to be using more AI images, but you know what?
Details.
Josh, you're full of surprises.
I improve these shadows a lot more. I soften these up more.
Let's see.
And here I start playing with this idea of the laser again.
I think the chapters are
like
each time he uses
electrons
one.
flying around. Light maybe is coming from the center.
No.
Just testing out different ideas. But I decided to bring in a texture from another illustration that I hadn't used yet and try to make it look like a sun, like a star, which was really cool. And I'm really happy with how it looks because it kind of looks like it's molten magma of a sort, right? Like maybe the core of the earth. And here's where I'm playing with, maybe there's some like lasers or just stars, maybe mini galaxies floating through here from her eye. Here you can see I added a lot of noise to the light source. And here's where we have the final image where I settle on those little particles.
We're almost done, guys. He'll probably preach to us at the end in the conclusion.
Out this way.
Sorry,
and that's
I didn't want to use,
now with the final illustration.
He'll probably tell us his process at the end.
And useful. And I hope that you see now that AI can be used in a way that doesn't infringe on any individual artist's copyright. This is all my work, clearly. And it would be extremely difficult.
I hope you can use AI. I hope you can use AI in a way that doesn't infringe on, you know, what did he say? Personal use or whatever, infringe on an artist. Whatever. Again, Josh, I don't know if you're being purposely obtuse with this, but you need to answer the question, where are those images coming from? And you're probably going to say Midjourney. That's fine. But where truly are those images coming from? Like, do you legit think that they are being generated out of thin air? I just, like, I feel he's either in denial, he accepts that fact because his morals tell him that it's fine, or he legit doesn't know. And I know he's smarter than that. I know he knows where that's coming from. Hold on, let's just finish this before we go back.
From AI, the way she's holding the hair strands in her hands, the way she's crouching, the perspective, the hair and the style of it. It's unique to me, and I'm very proud of it. And
the only reason he was able to create this image, draw it himself, sorry, not create. Josh, you're not an AI algorithm or whatever. Like, this is your artistic work. I do agree with that. The only reason you are able to do this was because you put your blood, sweat, and tears into your art. You studied the fundamentals. You made it an effort to be the best artist you could be. And in your head, you're probably like, I can even be better than this. And to me, this is mind-blowing. You put all of your blood, sweat, and tears in studying perspective, color, volume, anatomy, line work, rendering, all of that, Josh, I see it. I see all the blood, sweat, and tears that you did to become an artist of this high of a caliber. I see it. This is amazing. My mind is blown. Every time I see your art, my mind is blown. I'm not putting into question how this image was created. I am putting into question the ethics of it, specifically of your references, of which you clearly stated here 4 times that you used AI. You had to reference it in your artwork. That is where the issue is coming from. I'm not questioning that any of this process was not, none of this was done by AI. You did it yourself. I recognize that. However, the art that's being generated by Midjourney are artists exactly like you that put their blood, sweat, and tears into creating artwork just like yours. They studied perspective, they studied coloring, they studied line art, they studied rendering, they studied painting, they studied everything that you studied. All of that composition, negative space, all of that, they put their blood, sweat, and tears into it. And you know how you repay them? You go on Midjourney, you type in a prompt, you spit it back out, and you overlaid it on your artwork, and you referenced it. That's the difference.
Everyone that likes art and is concerned with AI art, so that you can see that there is a lot more to this discussion, and that we shouldn't be so divisive and calling each other names and villains and trying to say someone is an artist or isn't an artist just because they mention that they use a certain tool that you don't agree with. I'm not happy with that, and I want to hold everyone to a higher standard so that we can respect each other more in this community and move further and have more artists, because the more artists in the world, I believe the better the world will be. So thank you very much. This is Ergojosh, and stay tuned for a print of this illustration in the future. Take care.
The more artists in the world, I believe the world will be. What kind? You're
Okay. So again, since I'm going to edit this into a YouTube video, I just want to say, I know Bun was a bit more like, you know, with the language and whatever, like calling you out and stuff like that. I just want to say, personally, to me, again, I don't think that you are a villain. I don't want to like apply that caricature on you. You're not evil. You're not a villain. You're not bad, whatever. I see what you're trying to do here, Josh. I see it. I do. I really do. I just don't agree with it because we have different ethics and morals. I will say that till I'm blue in the face because it seems like you're not understanding that aspect of it. It's not just another tool. It is using images from other artists that put in the same work that you've put in. The 100 and whatever hours that you put into this artwork, other artists have also put into their artwork just so it could be put in the algorithms and spat back out. You put 115 hours into this work. You think the other artists that have their art put into Midjourney haven't put in the same amount of work, if not more? Again, this isn't about making a villain or whatever. And you're not going to make me see that using AI as a tool is in any way acceptable to me. Because it's just not. Not just inspiration. AI eats other people's art and chews it back up, digests it and spits it back up. Yep. I agree. Yep. That's exactly what it does. He thinks it's ethical to use it as a reference. I don't think it's ethical to use it as a reference. And I just wish in this video, in any part of this video, he would have acknowledged that. Yes, I'm doing Midjourney. I wish he would have walked us through the process of him going through Midjourney, because he walked us through the process of his artwork, but he didn't walk through the whole process. Nice. I wish he would have just opened up a new tab or whatever from Procreate, whatever. He would have recorded himself going on Midjourney, typing in the prompts, selecting the generated images that he wanted to use. I wanted to see that whole process, and I wish he would have showed it. I don't know why he didn't show it. That remains a mystery. But yeah. All right. What did you want to see, Bun?
The first use. What's the first use? What did he do? Not the initial sketch, the first use of AI.
The eyes, right?
No. Where was it? So we have the eyes. Yeah, so it's the eyes. What's the second one?
The hair.
What's the third one? It's at the beginning.
That's the elf ears.
Yeah.
Where's the elf ears?
The third use is the elf ears are the fourth. Those are the fourth. The third is at the beginning of the chapter. The third is at the beginning of the chapter. Oh my God.
Oh, this is what we were questioning. So the hair that
so this is confirmed.
He
AI,
said that
so
this
that's
was
AI.
He said that this was rendered, which is why I was questioning. I was like, what does that even mean, rendered? He should have just said, oh, I generated this AI image in Midjourney. That would have made it clear. Yeah. I don't know why he said I rendered this. He did not render that,
he's
Josh.
He's trying to confuse us. Yeah. So that's the third
I don't think
use,
he's trying to. The language is confusing. I don't think he tried to confuse us. He clearly marked it in the chapters for us to see. So he's not trying to confuse us. We were confused.
All of the shady shit regarding the AI.
No, he's not.
He's clearly not. He's clearly not showing us the process or the prompts that he's putting in to get these images. All he's doing is showing us the images after the fact.
No, he's being transparent. he showed us all the uses of AI. The only thing is that I wish he would have showed us more of the process of using AI. Although I understand he was just saying that you could use AI as a reference, but I wish he would have showed us exactly what he was typing in Midjourney to get all of these prompts. Yeah. Because if you guys don't know, which I kind of don't know either, but from my understanding is to get these images, you have to go on Midjourney, type in what you specifically want. Like, let's say girl with long flowing golden hair, whatever, right? But you also have to specify in what type of art style you want it, because you could get like a regular girl, like a human girl with like long flowing blonde hair, right? So he had to specify what art style he wanted it to come out as. I'm just wondering, what art style did he type in? I wish he would have showed that more.
Yeah.
Comment time. Oh, why? What did you want to say?
I was going to say he's going to die on this hill for the hair and the ear.
Yeah, and like the whole process of just using references. I want to read the comments. Let's see. The worst part about it is that the original draft he made for the hair looks so much more genuine and interesting than he did with AI. Yup.
I have to go to the bathroom. Be right back.
Okay. This person says, your AI use turned this composition into incomprehensible mush. I'm afraid you haven't taken enough of a step back to realize that. And such, or that you're so convinced that the opposition to AI is just dogmatic that you're writing off legitimate criticism that can make your art better. Yeah. For sure. Yup. Genuinely curious if it was an intentional choice to have random short bits of broken hair floating around, or is that just a product of AI tracing? It's jarring to me. If intentional, why? Interesting. Yeah. I asked that too. Why does his artwork have like random little bits of like hair floating around? From what I'm hearing, using AI for art is basically just stealing with extra steps. It's just unethical. Yeah. It's unethical because the actual reference, the art that's being spat out by Midjourney is stolen artwork. Crazy how the initial sketch composition was much more appealing than the AI post result. Yep.
Back.
Ethical problems aside, I don't know, man. Welcome back. Ethical problems aside, I don't know, man. Seems like it's too much work for so little in return.
Yeah.
That's what Bun was saying. The guy literally had to generate 3 images, mash them all together, and then liquefy them. When he had already sketched out like a perfectly fine composition of the hair. He went through all that trouble.
Good too. The composition of the hair he drew looks so much better, even compared to the final one. Like, oh my god.
Yep. Someone said if you really wanted the face to take inspo from Ilya, I'm so sorry I cannot pronounce Ilya's last name. You could have looked at his art. If you want to make the hair look wild and dynamic, you could have looked at the art at artists like Alphonse Mucha Reedum. I don't even know any of these artists. Yeah, I'm sorry. You could have even took inspiration from nature like waves. Exactly. Every time you use AI in this painting, you could have easily used an artist or nature around you. Just because these decisions you made during the art process doesn't mean there are good ones. Exactly.
Yep.
Also, to all of you claiming AI is inevitable, know this. You are the ones making it inevitable by cowering and bowing your heads down, or by looking for an easy way to get ahead, or by succumbing to FOMO. Let's see. Yeah, AI was kind of useless here, to be honest. He never even ended up using the eyes anyways.
Yeah.
Giving money to a tech company profiting off of stealing from and replacing artists is where you went wrong. I could give a shit about you if you got a little light bulb idea from some AI slop you scrolled past on Instagram. At the end of the day, if you have an AI subscription, you are paying money for a product that has generated billions of dollars from some rich assholes who don't do a lick of work to make it happen. All of those AI generated images were only possible because of stolen labor of millions of artists who will never see a dime of that profit. Every change you made as a result of using AI made the painting weaker and less intentional. Here's another thing, guys. I actually didn't even click it in my head. You do have to pay for Midjourney.
Yeah.
This guy legit paid money for stolen artwork.
Okay, so also I interject. An ethical way for AI like this to work, right? Let's say that we want to lessen the workload, especially in the anime industry. Let's say like Bandai or whoever fucking company gets a clean slate AI and feeds it the art that they needed to put out, but they don't even use that art. They just use it for like storyboarding and shit and just like painting out the road for it. To me, I could see that because that would lessen the workload on the artists over there. But also, I don't know, actually, because they get paid freaking dollars for scenes. So never mind. That's I retake that back. I take that back. I never said that. No one can prove it. I never did.
I never did. I never did.
I never did. I never did. But I was just thinking like maybe, but no. It'd have to be like really like workshopped. It can't just be like thrown in there. But not like this, Josh.
Let's see. All right, let's see. He replied to this comment. Font Pixelate said, "Okay, Mr. Josh, maybe you're right. Maybe this is a future that we all have to embrace. Maybe like you titled your video, this is how real artists uses AI. Maybe one day in the future you will be praised as the man who pioneered it all, the one who had visions. Maybe this unethical way of technology abuse would change, and then maybe I and many others would join and become one of the real artists. I wish you all the success that you want, so maybe that one day you could look back to see how us fake artists are doing, and you standing on that glorious platform, maybe then you can spare us a pity look. But what do I know? I'm still struggling to put pencil marks down on paper, thinking about how and why things are the way they are." So he's like really upset. So Josh responds, "It's not about me being right, LOL. I made my statement clear and I understand. Emotions are high and people are hearing what they want to hear. People are airing their grievances. Read the description. It's pretty hard to misinterpret. I'll reinstate it here again. I'm presenting a position that instead of calling for this tool to be banned, which isn't happening, we advocate for individuals to be as thorough as possible, as being as authentic as they can when they use the tool, not copying any other artist's style or artwork, and making sure they remain the creative decision maker. I don't see why you would call yourself a fake artist. You don't post images purely generated from AI and claim you painted them. No. I used the title real artist after seeing so many claim I was fake, scammer, or had given up art, which is honestly laughable. I get people are angry, but come on. I streamed for 4 hours after I posted the video drawing while they were busy typing." See, this is what I mean, guys. Like, I don't think it's conductive. I don't think it's appropriate for the conversation to go after him in this way, because it just pushes them more into the AI corner. It just pushes them more. What?
Sorry. I was going to say Vic kind of cooked.
This dude said something like, if you don't like AI, you're self-minded, and proceeds to say it's not about me being right. Exactly. So I understand. Listen, that's why I wanted to make this video. I know Bun is a little bit more reactive and more like, fuck you, Josh, right? Sorry, I don't want to use curse words here, but like more like fuck you, Josh, right?
No, I think it's very... Wait, hold on. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Okay, go for it.
Okay. Sorry, you go ahead. Clarify. What's up?
I do not hate Josh. I am very reactory. I see a talented individual with amazing skill who put in years of work, just like Izzy said, to get to this level. And this is what they're doing. This is what I'm up. It's like, it's not even about what's right and wrong. It's about like, an artist is an artist is an artist. If you put AI into that, an artist is no longer an artist. Like one of the comments, I don't think you saw it. I'm looking at it on my browser. The top comment for me is, funnily enough, the hair looks like shit, exactly like the unstructured mess AI tends to make when it comes to hair, something an artist with intention wouldn't do. And that's what I mean, is it's like the disconnect from the beautiful talent that he had to this. It's just, it sickens me personally. I hope he sees the light. I hope he like realizes and he like grows, because right now he's regressing. You know what I mean? He's going back, and that's why I'm like so critical about it. I don't hate you, Josh. I don't wish anything ill on you. I know I had my reactions. I know I said some shit. I'm just heartbroken. I'm literally just like, why would you do that? Because you are such an, I watched you work. It was such an inspiration. The parts that were you, that you fucking just worked on it and you poured yourself into it, it was inspiration. But the parts where you were like, I just took this, you didn't even keep the eyes. You changed the whole face and it looked better afterwards. The only thing that looked like shit is the hair. Anyway, just wanted to say that. I'm sorry for interrupting.
That's okay. Basically, I guess I just want to close out this by saying, I also don't hate you, Josh. I don't believe in any part of my video I really had such a strong reaction to you in a way that like, I did not point the blame at you. I didn't like, you know, I tried my best not to attack you. I might have gotten a little bit overheated over the elf ear thing, just because I don't think it was that necessary for you to reference the elf ear off of, you know, stolen artwork. And again, I'm going to say that it is stolen artwork because here's another thing. And I feel like I want to address this directly to Josh. So Josh, I would like to ask you, how do you think those images are being generated? And do you think it is ethical for them to be generated that way? I understand you think it's ethical to use them as references because you couldn't find a specific reference in real life or like online or anything like that. So you wanted to resort to AI to generate the images on Midjourney, right? I can understand that. What I can't really understand is how you think those images are being made. That's the pain point here. I had no doubt that you drew that art with your own two hands. And I have no doubt that that art looks the way it looks was because you put your effort into it. You put years and years of artistic training, of being self-taught, which is even more mind-blowing to me. You did that. And you're a self-made man, Josh, to me. You have your subscribers is in the triple thousands, right? Triple digit thousands. And you will probably hit 1 million one day. And I commend you for that. That's not easy to do. I think you have to be very intentional with your content, with your artwork to hit, to be so close to 1 million subscribers on YouTube. And I really admire that from you, Josh. And I admire your artistic work. I admire how hard you work. However, I do ask you if you could please listen, just listen to me. I am not attacking you. I don't think that you're evil. I don't think that you're bad. I don't think that your art is shit. I think totally the opposite. Your artwork is mind-blowing. I don't know you personally as a person, so I can't say whether you're a good or bad person. That is up to you to decide. We all think that we are good people. So again, I know you're probably going to read those comments and be like, those are people that are super angry, reactionary, simple-minded, immature. That might very well be it, but I would like you to understand why our emotions are high at this moment. They're high because a lot of the stuff that is being used in Midjourney is stolen artwork. That a lot of artists did not consent to their art being put into that into Midjourney. And it's a service that you paid for, which is another pain point for artists. And you very well know this, Josh. It is very hard to make a living off of an artist, which is, I believe, why you started YouTube as well. You probably have your other reasons to start YouTube, but YouTube is a way to support yourself as an artist, to keep drawing, to make art your living. It is very hard as an artist to make art as your living. That is the dream. That's the goal, right? For most artists, for all artists, I would argue, is to make a living off of your art. That's all we want to do. We want to draw and make a living off of it. We don't want to be starving artists. We want to live off of it. So you decided to pay for Midjourney, and that money could have gone to an artist that really needed that money, right? And before you say anything, I know you paid references. I know you pay for brushes. That's so good, Josh. You support fellow artists, and I love that. The problem with Midjourney is that it steals from other artists. I know you know that. Or maybe I don't. Maybe you don't know that. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, Josh. Maybe you don't know that. Maybe you do know that. I don't know. You haven't made a clear statement on that. All you said was that you use Midjourney to generate an image to use as a reference. I understand that. However, I would like to know if you ain't no way. There we go. Sorry, I had to snooze ads. Okay. I would like you to, you're not obligated to do this, of course, but I'm really curious to know if you know that that's stolen artwork, and if you care if that's stolen artwork. That's it. I mean, we all have different ethics. Again, I think this is an ethics and a morals issue, not because you're using it to create art and you're not drawing it yourself, but because it is using stolen artwork. So again, Josh, if you could just clarify for all of us, and I know you don't owe us anything. King, you can just keep doing what you're doing, because you're not the first artist to use AI, and you won't be the last. I know that for sure. I've seen this trend. I've seen this happen, Josh. There are other artists like you that use AI in the same way you're using it. It's heartbreaking to us, the people that don't approve of that. And it's good for you guys because it's another tool for you guys. But I wish you would just listen to us and, again, block out the noise of people insulting you, and just listen to us when we say the art that you're generating, quote unquote, the art, the images that you're generating, it is an amalgamation of stolen artwork, and it's just spat out to you, and it's slop. So I don't know if you could just acknowledge that, or maybe walk us through your process of using Midjourney. I would just like to see it. What prompts are you using? I'm curious. Really, I am. But that's to say, it's an ethics and a morals issue, and a lot of AI artists, quote unquote artists, they're business people first and foremost.
I think it's very interesting that not everything has ethics and morals being discussed about it and around it, and yet you are an artist. And as an artist, and as a starving artist, I'm sure you must have been at some point. If not, praise God for you, thank God. But, even just the fact of ethics and morals being discussed around AI plus artists, it should kind of give you a red flag, right? It should be like, why is it even being discussed? To me, there's no argument. If ethics and morals are being discussed, one side has to be, you know what I mean? Like, otherwise it wouldn't be being discussed. There wouldn't be the discussion of, is it bad or is it good? It's obviously bad. People are obviously getting hurt.
The argument to that, what a lot of AI artists, quote unquote artists, argue with that is that Photoshop has been divisive in the past. Filters have been divisive in the past. Even referencing images has been seen as divisive. So there has been a lot of discussion. A lot of people don't think certain artists are real. Heck, there are still artists out there, traditional artists, that think digital art is not a real form of art. So there are those minority groups, but I get what you're saying. There is a huge, huge debate on morality here. And yeah, I feel like if Josh were to kind of look into that, why it's so prevalent in the artist space from a lot of artists, and a lot of big artists are very disappointed in you using AI art, I would kind of dive into that, Josh. And again, I don't want you to feel like you're being attacked. I don't want you to feel any type of way, because I don't think that's conductive to anything. I think if you attack people like that, they'll just like be pushed in that direction that they want to be pushed in, further in there. I
apologize if you felt like I attacked you at all, Josh.
Yeah, we're not here to attack you, Josh. We just want you to realize why our emotions are high. We want you to realize why a lot of us are sad and disappointed that you would pay Midjourney for stolen artwork, and it is stolen artwork. And maybe you disagree with that, Josh, but I would look into how these images are being generated from Midjourney.
You're one of us. You're one of the best of us. You know, it's like betrayal.
Well, like, there really isn't one of us. There isn't like two.
No,
I mean,
but you know what I mean? It's like artists that put in the work, and I'm not one of them. And I'm not saying I'm ever going to be, but like the high emotions I feel is because of the feeling of betrayal. It's like, you know how long it puts in. You've said it before. Josh knows how long it takes to make a piece of artwork.
Yeah. No, yeah, I don't doubt that at all.
The betrayal is just deep. It's deep.
Yes, it is. Well, it's not really betrayal. I don't feel betrayed by Josh. I wish Josh would kind of look.
But if you were an artist and you see the prompt and you saw that elf and you're like, oh my God, is that my eye? Is that my, you know what I mean? That artist is betrayed.
I don't know how the artist feels. I have no idea.
I guess. I'm just assuming. But
yeah, well, anyway, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to assume anything. I don't feel personally betrayed. I just feel a little sad. I feel a little sad that he doesn't really want to listen to a lot of artists that, and I get it. A lot of artists right now, they're heated, Josh. I don't blame you. I would be blocking people left and right. I would be like, oh my gosh, like I don't blame you, dude. Like I also would be like that. But I just want you to think a little bit. I posed a few questions during the video that we watched and that I commented on. I posted a few questions for you. One of which was where you think these images are coming from and how they're being generated. And if you kind of look into that process a little bit more, maybe you can form your own opinion. Maybe you already looked through the process of how they were formed, and your ethics and morals tell you that there's nothing wrong with that. And you know, that's up to you to decide. Josh, there is no sides here. There isn't right or wrong. There isn't, you know, bad or good. There isn't like, you know, devil, angel, whatever you think that is a black and white issue here. I promise you, Josh, I agree with you. It's not a black and white issue. I do want you to look into the process of Midjourney, though, and see why a lot of people are kind of upset right now. And again, if you want to talk, I'm open to talking with you, Josh. I promise I won't like attack you. No judgment here. I really want to know where you're coming from. What made you think that this was an okay, you know, tool to use? Because I agree this would have been an amazing tool for artists to use, but the way this tool has been tainted by a lot of stolen and plagiarized work, we can't unring that bell, Josh. It's just going to be there. There's just the way that this model was trained was from stolen artwork, and there's no way to undo that. Even if we want to just use it for references, even if we put our own artwork into it, there's no way to unring that bell. So just a few things to think about. Yeah, I think that's where I'll end this video. Go ahead. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, go ahead and type that in the comment box. Yeah, thank you so much for listening. Hope you guys have a great day.